Hello and welcome to the Tennis Menu's daily US Open show for thetennismenu.com. Everything you need to know about the world of tennis right there at your fingertips. Packages and anything to do with helping your game get to the next level or your pupils' game get to the next level. It is all there at the Tennis Menu. Plus news, articles, blogs, anything you need to know, it is there. But Febbo here with you on the penultimate day of the show. We're getting a little bit sad that we've only got one day to go after this, but joining me as usual, the best high-performance coach in the business. Hashtag Marc for PM. Hashtag most distracting high-performance coach in the business. Marc Sophoulis, how are you, mate?
I'm going really well, Val. How are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic. After a riveting women's final this morning, another three-setter to be blessed with in 2020. We had Kenin and Muguruza in the Australian Open final. That went to three. Well, Azarenka and Osaka have gone to three as well. Osaka winning that 1-6. 6-3, 6-3. Coincidentally, the exact same scoreline as the Azarenka-Serena semi-final. So it was Azarenka's favourite scoreline for about a day and a half, and now today that's probably one that she'll want to forget pretty quickly. But a ripping final, and Osaka now wins her third Grand Slam, and she's only 22 years old. This is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, the sky is the limit for Naomi Osaka. She's being coached at the moment by Victoria Azarenka's former coach, Wim Fissett, I think his name is. And yeah, it's incredible win this morning. The first set was just all as Azarenka, and she just dominated off the back of the court. It was incredible to watch. And then Osaka just said, as she said in her post-match interview, she said, I didn't want to finish in less than an hour, so I needed to do something. So she came out and started going really big off the ball and started dictating. Very similar match to the Azarenka and Serena match where, Serena dominated and then Azarenka then started to dominate. And then it was just very similar this time. I thought Azarenka came out of the blocks really quickly and Osaka then just hit her straps early in that second set. It was about, I think it was 2-1 Azarenka and Osaka then started to just find her rhythm and find her feet just a little bit more as the match went on. And wow, she closed it out extremely well. She was hitting off the ground at approximately 130 Ks an hour. It was amazing to watch just the amount of power these girls hit with. And yeah, incredible match. And look, Azarenka did not do herself any harm with that. She was incredible and she can hold her head up high. She's come back from an amazing situation and been able to do herself proud and her team proud.
Yeah, she sure can. She was absolutely fantastic. And I think we'll look at this and go, when the French Open comes around, Azarenka has never really had the utmost success at Roland Garros, but I think with the way she's played, this is going to springboard her very, very nicely to go on and go forth at the French Open. But 130 kilometres an hour at times for Osaka, that was scary good. She now wins her third Grand Slam, Marc, before the age of 23, which is pretty unbelievable. Serena at that point had 6. So she's halfway there already. With the French Open coming up, she's playing pretty well. Clay definitely not her strong suit, but with the way that she strikes the ball, and we'll get to the match a little bit more, but we'll get to the match first. I'll ask you this later because it's more of a future question. So let me just rejumble my thoughts. So looking at the match this morning, what, as a coach, you've been absolutely smacked in the opening set of a Grand Slam final. Sudden death from there on in. What do you try and instill in your player? Is it the same as the earlier parts of the tournament? Because this is such a big occasion, Marc. Do you have to just try and stick to those processes and block out any type of nerves that you can?
Yeah, it's a hard one because as a coach, there's not much you can really do. It's you teach them to be in the present and tell them that it's a best of 3 set match. The opponent has to win 2 sets, not 1. And that's all you can really do. It's like the men's final. I mean, they have to win 3 sets. So if you lose a set, you lose 2 sets, it's absolutely irrelevant. It's more about being in the process moment, just staying focused, being present, and focus at the job at hand. And if the match isn't over and you haven't shaken hands, you've got a chance. You've got a chance in this game. That's what I love about it. It's the opportunity is always there for you to come back. So, I thought it was, we did speak about it being a 3-set match yesterday on the show, and it didn't disappoint. It was always going to go to 3. Both players are never going to give in. And, Osaka was just brilliant. She was able to put the first set behind her and just continue on. And, women's tennis is a bit like that. It's a little bit up and down. I mean, it can happen very quickly and turn around very, very fast. So, you've got to be on your game. You can't give an inch. And the moment you give an inch, your opponent's going to take a mile. So hang in there and keep fighting.
Yeah, agree 100%. And yeah, it was a scintillating performance from Osaka to come back, setting a breakdown in a Grand Slam final. She's never really had to go through anything like that in a slam final. If you remember back to the 2019 Australian Open against Kvitova, she served for the match in the second set. Kvitova came back, almost broke Osaka down mentally. So Osaka kind of has that mental fortitude, and we've seen it in a Grand Slam final before. She was done against Kvitova, almost in tears on the court, physically looked cooked. But she came back, fought back, showed that resolve, and she showed that again today. And that's the markings of a true champion. She's won her first 3 Grand Slam finals. That is unbelievable. At the age of 22, to play in 3 is pretty remarkable, let alone to win all 3 of them, and 2 of them being really tight tussles against 2-time Grand Slam champions. And the first one to belt Serena in straight sets. So she's beaten some really unbelievable players in those 3 tournaments. Not that a player that gets to a Grand Slam final isn't unbelievable, but they've all been there, done that. And Osaka has matched them 100% of the way. Yeah. And look, I think we could be seeing a 15-time Grand Slam player, really, for someone to do it so consistently. She's won one in each of the last 3 years now, 2020, 2019, and 2018. This is someone that's very special.
It is. And who's going to stop her if she plays like that? And that's like, and I know we look at, you've got players like Serena who are back end of her career. You've got Venus at the back end of her career. You've got Kim Clijsters coming back. She's won Grand Slams, but obviously back end of her career. Azarenka, back end of her career.
Ash Barty.
Ash Barty is the only one I can see over time being there for the distance. Now, I think I saw a stat this morning. There's been 11 different female winners of the last 13 Grand Slams.
Yep.
Now, that's incredible. But are we seeing someone who's coming of age now that may be a Serena Williams, as I'm going to call it, in the next 10 years? Who knows? I mean, it's pretty impressive what she can do right at the minute. Where she goes to from here, I don't know. But to win Grand Slams, you need an amazing amount of emotional control. And Naomi Osaka shows zero emotion. It's absolutely incredible. She is just like ice cold, and I love watching her.
Me too. And I like her personality as well. And she's really come out of her shell, which I really like. Remember when she won her first Indian Wells title back in 2018, she went to the speech and she goes, hi, I'm Naomi. Nobody would know who she was, but it's fantastic. We love seeing that, different type of personality. She's coming out, she's being herself. She's, she seems more relaxed out there.
Yeah.
And you're right, 11 of the last 13 slams have been won by different people. The only one to win multiple is Naomi. She's the only one to do it.
Yeah.
So it is, I think it's a testament to her. But what I'm starting to think now is that power is really going to be what's going to win women's Grand Slams from now on. Osaka has it. Barty's got it. Halep doesn't really have it, so I'm surprised she's got a couple. Kerber doesn't really have it, but ladies like Stevens, Keys, Kvitova, Osaka, Barty, Kennan, Serena still, they're the ones that I'm always looking at in the draw to see who they're against, who they're playing against, what their draw looks like, maybe a Maria Sakkari as well. And they're the ones that I look at and go, and even Svetlana Kuznetsova, to an extent, she's still got that power when she wants it. That's why Stosur was always dangerous as well. If you've got that power and being able to flick that switch when you need to, and that's what those ladies have, and that's why they're always the favourites going into slams. And do you agree with that? Or do you think that the counterpunchers still have the utmost of chances to win in these women's Grand Slams? Because we see in the men's that it is a lot harder for those baseliners to do it. You've always got to have something extra.
Yeah, I'll call it the Leighton Hewitt style or the Andy Murray. When's the next counterpuncher that's going to win a slam? I mean, when you look at the weapons that the top players now possess, you've got to have something. Now, I thought Djokovic early on in his career was a very, very good counterpuncher with a secondary game style being an aggressive baseliner. And you have to have something that's going to hurt the opponent. Now, the top players, and you look at Osaka now, you look at Azarenka, Serena, Ash Barty, they've got weapons and artillery to hurt you. If you cannot hurt the opponent, it's very, very hard in this day and age to be able to win a Grand Slam.
Yep.
Very, very hard. And I think you're 100% correct. I can't see a winner of a Grand Slam being a very traditional counterpuncher anymore. They'll get to certain levels of the tournament, but getting over that next hurdle. And watching Osaka this morning, she has another gear that a lot of these girls don't have. And she was just able to turn it on. Azarenka is a brilliant player, don't get me wrong. But the way that Osaka turned it on from midway through that second set, just another gear, and just the showings of a real true champion, and someone that probably, like you said, is going to be a very, very high winner of Grand Slams over the next 10, 15 years.
And this is why I look back and I find the 2018 Australian Open final between Wozniacki and Halep so unbelievable, because it was those two there, counterpunchers, sorry. And Wozniacki, it took her so long. She was number one in the world 8 years before that.
Yeah.
And was a favourite to win Slam. She would win every title under the sun, just not a Grand Slam.
Yeah.
And she finally got there. We're not going to see any play. And Halep still has those weapons because she's got her wheel. She can attack when she wants.
Yeah.
She utilizes clay so well. And it's also, a weapon is how you utilize the surface.
Yeah.
Is that right? Like utilizing a surface as a weapon?
Absolutely. And Halep does possess some aggressive baseliner traits. And I feel like, and this is something I do as a coach, is you have a player that has a primary game style, which could be counterpuncher, but a secondary game style. Now, it's important to be able to have traits of a secondary game style. And everybody does. There's no traditional only a counterpuncher that can just keep the ball in play that's going to win slams. It's not going to happen. You have to have the ability to either pop the serve. And I feel Daniil Medvedev is that prime example. He plays like a counterpuncher, but he can also step up. The secondary game style is to be able to pop the ball and be able to go big off the serve or big off the ball, off the forehand side. You have to have the secondary traits. And if you don't have that, it's very hard for you to break through at that top level. You can get to the 30, 40 in the world. You can match them till quarterfinals or so, but it's that next level that those players struggle to hurt you and struggle to win points. Like even this morning, both players had more winners than unforced errors.
Yeah.
You know, and if you cannot win the match, if you're there to save the match, the players now these days are too good and they'll be able to take you to the cleaners. Like even this morning, you know, both players are aggressive baseliners that don't generally come to the net very often. But if you look at net points won, Azarenka came in 16 times and Osaka 12. They're not net players, but they come in to finish points. Now, the true traditional counterpunchers won't do that. They'll sit back and wait for things to happen. These players have the ability to play aggressive baseline, but have the traits of an all-court player to come in and finish the point at the net. So that's where I see the difference lying now moving forward to the next I guess, where the game is going is you need to be an all-courter. You need to have the ability to play multiple styles.
And you think back to the men's game as well. When you look at Leighton Hewitt was in the top 10 for so long. He was in there for a very long time, from 1999 to the start of 2006. When he got smacked in the second round of the Australian Open by Juan Ignacio Chela that year. Marcos Baghdatis ran all the way to the final, but if you watch recent footage of Baghdatis when he played almost through the last decade, he lacked so much pop on the ball that the big players would just absolutely tear him to shreds. And even in the last 5 years, I'm surprised he went that long, and I think that's why Hewitt stopped when he did. Because if he could match it, and back then he could because it was a different era of different players. Now, the likes of Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and Murray, and Wawrinka have all changed the way tennis is played, and the mechanics of a player to actually win a slam. And it's what Serena and Venus did for their era.
But did you notice? It's funny you bring that up because if you notice what Leighton Hewitt did towards the back end of his career, is that he focused heavily on becoming bigger and stronger. He focused on getting more pop on the serve and more pop on the forehand. That was his big thing because he saw the game, and it was a credit to him and his team. He saw the game progressing, going, "Wow, I'm not going to beat these guys just keeping the ball in the court anymore. I have to be able to pop the ball. I have to be able to generate some force." And he changed that style of play. And you know, the female side is no different. The game is purely dominated by power these days. And, you know, obviously the Williams sisters, credit to them, they changed the game many years back when you saw the Hingises of the world were doing okay. And then all of a sudden Serena and Venus went, yeah, you know what? Sorry, I'm going to change the way this game's played. And they have. And you can see the game now with Kvitova and you know, popping the ball the way they do is just incredible.
Yeah. And you look at a player like Eugenie Bouchard. She made 3 semi-finals, like the 2014 Australian Open semi, French Open semi, Wimbledon final. She's made 1 Grand Slam quarterfinal since. What does she possess in her game that's going to say, you know what, I can win a slam? She can't.
No. It's almost like you can just say right off the bat now, those sort of players cannot win slams.
Yeah. Like, look, let's go through the WTA rankings, and let's pencil through a couple of players which we think can actually go on and actually win a Grand Slam. So, Ash Barty, yes.
Yep.
Simona Halep, I still think she can. The
Mm-hmm.
French, because the weapon is her clay, and also she's won Wimbledon.
Yeah,
she's
absolutely.
been there, done that. Pliskova, she definitely can.
Yep.
With her power.
Mm-hmm.
Kenin, yep. Svitolina, jury's out on.
Yeah.
She's never really made too much of an indent. Does she have that secondary game that she can go on with a slam and win?
It's debatable with her. Like, I feel like she needs something else in her game. Yep. Something else to hurt the opponents. She's getting to that level, but she's just struggling to have that next gear. Now, whether or not she can develop that next gear is the jury is still out. But I'm going to say no at this stage, but she could if she changed a few little things in her game.
Exactly right. Still only about 24 years old, mind you. There's still plenty of time. Andreescu, we've forgotten about her completely, defending US Open champ. She can. Kiki Burton's not sure about. On clay, maybe.
Yep.
But not anywhere else, I don't think.
Same category as Svitolina.
Yep. Serena, with her game, she just made a semi. Can't really write her off, really.
No, absolutely.
I don't know if she is going to get another slam, but she's at her best.
Yep.
1,000%.
Yep.
Osaka, well, yeah, she just won one. Belinda Bencic. Another one there that I'm not quite sure of.
Her game's there. Her mind, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she can sustain it for 2 weeks straight.
Yep. Another couple before we do get onto the men's final as well. Arena Sabalenka, I think she's got the power game to do it. Definitely. Yep. Give it about 1,000% she can. Konta, not sure of.
Yep.
You reckon she can?
I think she's got capabilities of doing it. So, I think she's, I think even in her home country, possibly. I think there's something in it with Konta. I think she's got something there that is quite unique and quite special. Whether or not she can take it to that Grand Slam level, I've got a good feeling about Konta.
Okay. And she's made a few semis recently as well, so I can't count that out. Madison Keys, 100% she can.
Yeah.
Power-wise.
And there's two players that probably aren't at the top of the rankings that I'm gonna throw in.
Yep.
Coco Gauff and Marta Kostyuk.
Yep. I agree 100% with them. 100%. But you've got even people that are like ranked lower. Kerber at 23, she could win one.
Yep.
Mainly because she's gone there and she's done that before. But Gauff and
Kostyuk,
they are absolute out and out superstars of the game.
Yep.
We will see in a very long time still being there. And Jennifer Brady as well. 100% she can do it. One more before we do move on that I want to ask you about. Yelena Ostapenko. She stormed through that 2017 French Open, but since then, only another, I think, a semi since then. Hasn't really done too much. What do you see in her game, and where do you think that's going?
A little bit of a yo-yo, isn't she? She's up and down. You just don't know what you're going to get with her, and she's probably the Kinder Surprise of the WTA. You open it up, and I'm not sure what's going to be inside it, but she can really play. If you've won a Grand Slam before, you've got the capabilities of doing it again, and she's shown that she can do it. It's just whether or not she can get over what she's going through now. Just so inconsistent with what she's doing, but. Yeah, I think she's still got the capabilities, and who knows what's around the corner. She did put Marion Bartoli into her team. I think it was at the start of last year, and I'm not sure how that's been working, but the consistency needs to be improved. Yep,
I think so as well. And I think this is a really good chat. So we're going to do this again for the men tomorrow, and we'll go through which players we can still win a slam, because I'm fascinated by your thoughts on who you think will actually win one and has the capabilities to do it.
Yep.
There's probably a lot less on the men's side than on the women's side that can actually win. So I'd love to get your thoughts on who you reckon will do it. So we'll save that for tomorrow. I'm very excited for this. We'll save that instead of my mankini, which isn't happening.
Damn.
I'm very happy about that. Very happy. Are you going to shave the beard for me or no?
Yeah, probably not. I sort of had a thing that, I was going to keep this beard growing until we're allowed to get out of our bloody houses in Australia and do something. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to keep this beard growing because who knows? This could become down here. I could become a Greek priest by the end of lockdown. So who knows where I'm going to be? But
A big fat Greek wedding.
Yeah, well, it's funny because my daughters both like it, and they say, keep growing it, Daddy, because they want to put into a ponytail. So
the biker Sophoulis.
Yeah, it could be. I think I could be on, what is it, Game of Thrones? You know those guys tied up?
Yeah, I love that show.
Possibly something along those lines. I mean, I couldn't look any worse than I do now, so let's see how we go.
Oh, God, Santa Sophoulis. There we go.
Oh, well,
thank Marc.
Well,
there we go. Absolutely fantastic. But what a tournament it was for the women's. I think this has been the best women's Grand Slam in a very, very long time. I think probably since the 2018 Australian Open, and I think it even trumps it. For the narrative of Azarenka getting there, for Svetlana Pironkova, for the women's semi-finals that we saw, it was just truly and utterly remarkable. And I'm so glad that we got such an amazing tournament. It's going to leave such a wonderful legacy. And I think we saw a really good final as well. The last 3 matches all went to 3 sets. And I think that's all we can really ask for when we watch tennis, for quality and for sustained quality as well for a long period of time. And we sure as hell got that. Absolutely fantastic. Tomorrow, 6 a.m. Melbourne time. I'm very, very dirty on this start time. Very dirty, because that is...
You're not a morning person, Febbo, so we've got to change that in you, because the mornings are the best time of the day. I'm up at 5 a.m. I'll have this on. And I think it's going to be a cracking morning for tennis. It really is. And a new men's Grand Slam champion, which is going to be exciting after... The top 3 have won 54 out of the last 72 Grand Slams. So it's going to be really nice, fresh air. It's going to be really interesting to see which player comes through and wins their first Grand Slam title. It's a really exciting time for men's tennis.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this match. It's going to be scintillating. I think Thiem and Zverev both have sort of very aggressive styles, but the one thing, and we've spoken about this the entire tournament, Alexander Zverev's serve, is it going to hold up? And it's like Forrest Gump's box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to find, really.
Well, he's the Kinder Surprise of the men's tour. So who knows when you open up the egg, what's inside on any given day with Alexander Zverev. But you know what? If he gets his confidence up at an early stage in this match, he's a confidence player. And if he's up early, who knows? But look, Dominic Thiem's been absolutely incredible, and I probably didn't give him the credit he deserved prior to the last match, and he's showing some real signs of a future champion to come that can be a sustained champion, not just once off. So good luck to both players, because it's going to be an incredible match and nice early morning for us Aussies.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to really get up and try and curb this morning person thing. But the problem is there's so much sport. There's sport on in Europe. There's sport on in America. It's like there's an F1 Grand Prix tonight, and I'd like to watch that. But then it's like, well, I'd like to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and watch the tennis. So it's like, which one do I do? And I'm not doing both, because I'll be as grumpy as hell tomorrow.
Mate, try having kids, Febbo. All right, so it's like you don't sleep at all. You're up all the time. You're in the worst mind frame.
No, I really shouldn't complain. It's like, which sport am I going to watch tonight?
Yeah, exactly. It's
24-year-old problems, hey.
Yeah, it's like, when players are now actually able to go back and do what they love and back to their sport, playing tennis and playing football as well, and they're complaining about, being in a bubble. Deal with it. I'm in a bubble all freaking day. I'm in a bubble nonstop with 2 kids that won't stop whinging. So we're in a bubble nonstop, guys. So enjoy the weekend.
Marc, you hired me.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting times ahead, but it'll be an amazing morning. So get yourself up, and if you're in Australia, watch it, because it's going to be really good to watch a new Grand Slam champion be crowned on over in the US, which would be great.
All right, who wins and how many sets, Marc?
I'm going to go Thiem, and I'm going to go straight. I think Dominic Thiem is playing some great tennis. I think he'll be able to overcome Zverev. But look, you know what? If Zverev starts well, then he's like I said, a confidence player. Could be anything. But I'll go Thiem and straight.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think if Zverev does win a set, it's going to be the first one, and then Thiem will be able. Thiem's not going to drop his level. He's not. We've seen that throughout the entire tournament. Only set he's dropped is against Marin Cilic, who coincidentally did the same to Rafa last year or 2 years ago. But I think they met last year in the 3rd round. Cilic managed to get a set off Rafa. It was the only set Rafa dropped for the entire tournament. So apart from the final when Medvedev pushed him to 5. But I think I think Dominic Thiem is just in too too good a form to lose this. And the way he played in the Australian Open final, he knows he can win a Grand Slam. He knows he can win this. It's just up here whether he just gets tight in the wrong moments. But Medvedev made him play his best, and team got through that and with an A++ grade. So I do agree. I think team in straight sets. The jury's still out on him, and I might be going to buy some Kinder Surprise after this because you just made me really hungry.
Well, I haven't had lunch yet, so I'm about to go eat some lunch after this, which will be good.
Absolutely fantastic. But Marc Sophoulis on the penultimate day of the US Open daily tennis show for the Tennis Menu. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm very sad because tomorrow we've only got one more, but then I guess we can get excited for the French Open. But yeah, very sad. This is our second last goodbye, but thank you very much, Marc. It's been a pleasure as usual.
And always a pleasure with you, Val. And the word of the day, penultimate, I didn't even know what it meant before today. So I'm going to go look it up on Wikipedia when we finish here. And I thought it was a brilliant word to sum up the day. Well done.
Second last.
Good job.
No worries. Well, Marc Sophoulis joining me, Val Febbo. Remember, you can get anything you need to know about the world of tennis at thetennismenu.com. Marc does such a wonderful job, as do Nick, George, and Joel as well, doing stellar job with the website and social media. You can follow us on social media at the Tennis Menu on Instagram and Twitter, and the Tennis Menu on Facebook and LinkedIn. We're there. Search us, follow us, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We just want to provide the best tennis content for you all, and we hope to do that for many, many more years to come. Val Febbo and Marc Sophoulis joining you every day throughout this US Open. One more to go. It's the men's final. Dominic Thiem versus Alexander Zverev. Don't want to miss it.